What's going on, YouTube? It's a happy Saturday, I'm telling you. I hope yours is happy too. Let me straighten this up just a bit there. Welcome to the Trumpet Dungeon. I'm Jonathan. You probably already know me, but if you don't, this is Donalds Trumpets Vintage Horns. What? Did he say Donalds Trumpets? Yee. But don't worry. Voila. This ain't no politics here. This is about brass and brass alone. Because what happened here was my dad, when he passed, God rest his soul, left me a lot of really cool vintage horns. Dad's name's Donald, by the way. Donald's Trumpets. So I created this channel in his honor to catalog and talk a little bit about each one of these beautiful beasts before they are released back into the wild. So glad you made it here. If you like vintage brass, you came to the right place. Make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can make sure to keep in touch with all the content as it's coming out. Because these go on the market, right? So you see something that you like, you're going to want to make sure to be able to jump on it and have a little bit more knowledge about it than the average buyer. What are we looking at today? Something that I think is actually super cool. This is a Buescher Aristocrat trumpet. This is not the aristoCRAP, right? Piece of crap that are, you know, the more recent versions of them. I think it's about 1964 onward. This is when Buescher actually owned the company Buescher. If you know anything about the manufacturer, they were, I think they came into business about 1890 and were purchased eventually by Conn-Selmer in about 1964. And then they decided to take the aristocrat name and basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Blaspheme it across the trumpet world. But no, not this one. This right here is a 321,000 serial number. It puts it around 1947 or so. This trumpet is a totally different horn. And what I would say in one sentence is phenomenal sound at a great value. I think that's pretty good. Sounds a little bit cheesy, but it does produce an amazing sound. One of the things you can tell too, there's definitely some detail that was put into the engraving on this. The lacquer is pretty shiny. I'm not gonna lie. It's got wear through it. You can see the lacquer is worn here and there. But overall, I mean, this thing looks pretty doggone good. The bell doesn't look like it ever had any repairs to it. Let's see here. So yeah, no, bell looks good. All the slides and valves move freely. Don't have to worry about that. So you can see the, wait, did I just see something? What the heck is that? Check out this lead pipe. So we have the lead pipe come in, but then the main tuning slide actually tucks in underneath. So the result is you have your second valve just sticking out on the outside of the horn. It's a lot like a Voca bell design, actually. And if I could find one, let's take a look. So here's a Voca bell. This is not the one I did the video on, but you can see the Voca bell wrap is the same thing. You got that main tuning slide that tucks in underneath. So interesting. That's one thing I really like about vintage trumpets is, you know, the trumpet hasn't been around, well, the trumpet as we know it, the modern trumpet, hasn't been around terribly long. And in the early 1900s, late 1800s, every manufacturer was doing what they could to differentiate themselves. So you see a lot of really cool designs. Think about stuff like the Olds recording, where it's got the second valve piston that's offset, just to be a little bit more ergonomical. So really cool, exciting era of trumpet manufacturing all the way until, I guess, I don't know, what was it? Just American industry in general decides to produce as much as you can for the lowest cost possible, and then you're left with a bunch of crap. Not this one though, I love this horn. Let's take a look at some of the valves here. I have not done a deep dive into these, but yeah, look at that. Gorgeous, freaking gorgeous. Can I say freaking on YouTube? I hope so. Yeah, if you've watched any of my other videos, I like to put them in the wrong way. So yeah, valves are beautiful, totally beautiful. Like I mentioned, the slides all move. What else do I want to say about this? I wasn't a big fan of Buescher. Is it Buescher or Buescher? Either way, I wasn't a big fan of this manufacturer overall until I picked this trumpet up today and I said, holy cow, this thing is totally different. One thing that I learned as well from a guy I know, Brian Foote, he's a local musician, an amazing trumpet player, is this right here, check this out, the way that this slide comes in, it kind of gives you the ability to not touch any other part of the horn. And if you're aware, I mean, any extra weight or any extra stuff or touching the bell, touching the lead pipe, it affects the vibration and it ultimately is going to affect the tone. So that was pretty cool. you are able to play a little bit more without having to get your hands all over the instrument. So I do like that. I think that's definitely a nice capability that this horn has. All right, without further ado, let's jump into this. I was kind of back and forth as far as what kind of mouthpiece to use. This one's a mellophone mouthpiece. I'm sure there's plenty of trumpet players that are gonna think I'm an atheist or something, but I like the way that it sounds. It feels really good on the mouth, on the lips there, and produces just a beautiful smoky tone. I will mix it up, I guess, with let's do a Bach 7C. That way it doesn't distort the sound so much that you can't tell what the instrument is. That's one thing, mouthpieces will make a huge impact to the instrument, sometimes more than switching from a trumpet to trumpet. Hold up, coming back, wait. All right, so we'll do a Mount Vernon 7. Let's do a Mount Vernon 7. I'm changing my mind on this mellophone. I think it's gonna do everybody a lot better justice to play with something kind of middle of the road. All right, so a little bit about my playing. This channel is not about me and my skills as a trumpet player. I'm coming up on 6 months now with the trumpet, but my entire life I never touched the horn at all, didn't like it, didn't care for it, other than the occasional pawn shop run. Sorry, Dad. But now, something miraculous happened. Whenever my father passed, it was like his passion for the instrument was transferred to me. No joke. Ain't mystical, it's just beautiful. So nevertheless, this is about the horns, not about my skills as a player. But can I take a minute? You know what's ironic is that my entire life, I didn't have any real deep dive conversations with my father about trumpet, and could have learned a lot from him through my own initiative, through his own initiative. And there's a lot to learn there. For one, I think it's important to make sure to dive in as deep as you can with your parents to find out what kind of gems you can get from them as far as knowledge is concerned, as far as passion is concerned. But also too, if you have children, make sure that you're taking the time to invest in their lives to give them something that they can use for the rest of their lives. So there you go. Chris Bodie has been my guy. That's what I've been playing. We'll do When I Fall in Love. And then, yeah, we'll play it on a Martin Committee. I think the Martin Committee is a fair comparison to this. This has a really, I thought it did, it had a warm tone, but maybe it's that mellophone mouthpiece. So let's jump in. There you go. Oh, I love it. I love the way that plays. Let's see if my Martin Committee gets jealous of that one there. So let's see. Jumping in early 50s, Martin Committee. 189,000 serial number. a tough call. That really is. I feel like the Buescher slot's a little bit sloppier, believe it or not, than the Martin Committee. And committees are known for kind of sloppier slotting, which can be desired if you're playing jazz, want to bend some notes a little bit more. I would have to say, I would go with the Buescher. And this is not because trumpet for trumpet, all things else being equal, but the Buescher, as far as cost is concerned, is going to usually sell for a lot less than a Martin Committee would. It's a wonderful horn. I can't speak for the horn in general, like, you know, all the different serial numbers, but I know this particular trumpet, I love it. And yeah, I just love it. Needs a little bit of work, right? It's missing the felts for the valves, etc. But overall, I mean, goodness gracious, this thing sounds good. Train wreck! All right, so if you made it this far, you like trumpets, you love Jonathan, I'm gonna say you probably like trumpets. Have you subscribed yet? And here's the reason why. I need subscribers, please. But here's another reason why. There's a lot of good content. And if you're in the market, if you wanna help collaborate, that's one thing I've learned about trumpet players. They love to tell you how much they know. So what's up? Put some comments down below. Let me know anything I missed, anything you want to see more of, because this is all about us, trumpeteers. So we'll do it together. No joke. This is not a solo effort. This is a group collaboration. And I do ultimately want to create a community because trumpet's awesome. And that's one common thing that can unite people. And that's what I've learned pretty quickly. Doesn't matter what religion you are, what political affiliation you are. When you bring out the horn, something about that brass, it just levels all the differences of humanity. So we can save the world together, one note at a time. So thank you very much. Donalds Trumpets Vintage Horns is the place to go if you like vintage brass. Make sure to click subscribe. That way you can keep in touch with all the new videos that are going to be released. Thanks. Glad you made it this far. And I'm going to have a great rest of my weekend. Hope you do too. Excuse me.